Today, My Fund Futures dropped a major announcement. We have 3 new plans along with new pricing. And today we're going to cover the plan that actually replaced the starter account. Now, before we get started, I want you guys to know to get the best deal with My Fund Futures, use promo code Mike. And if you're new to My Fund Futures, first time user, until the end of the month, you get 50% off any evaluation account. So now we come over and we look real quick. We have what's called the scale, the core, and the pro accounts, along with the eval to live accounts. And the accounts that I currently have with My Fund Futures are the starter plans. Now we come over and we look, the core plan is essentially going to replace the starter plan. Now, if you use the link in the description box down below, you can actually get this plan right now for only $66. Now let's talk about what has changed between the starter and the core plan. For first, the trailing drawdown in the starter plan was $2,500. Now they've actually reduced it to $2,000. So I got to be honest with you, that's not such a good thing. However, the pricing of the plan is much better. Also, if we scroll down real quick and we look at the scaling rule, there is a scaling rule. We look at micro scaling. We can trade 10 micros for every mini futures contract. Also, you look at consistency rule in the evaluation phase, there is a consistency rule. However, once you get funded, there is no longer a consistency rule. So the consistency rule in the evaluation phase basically says no one day can be greater than 50% of the total profit. So if the total profit objective to pass this evaluation would be $3,000 in a simulated account, that means no one day can have more than $1,500 of profit. So best case scenario, you're going to be able to pass this in 2 days. However, my advice would be take it as slow as possible. Now, if we come right up here to the FAQ real quick and we go to where it says core, I'm going to click right here where it says core plan. And let's look at some of the benefits of that. Benefit number 1, easy path to a live funded account. 2, potential weekly payouts. Now, potential being the key word because there are some objectives that must be met before you can actually request a payout. No more daily loss limit. So if you hate the daily loss limit, you know what? Poof, it is now gone. And it says competitively priced. And we can clearly see at $77 with no discount. But like I said, right now you can get that account for $66. Now, if we look at what happens once you get funded, here's something that they did change as well. The profit split dropped to 80-20. Previously, it was a 90-10 split. Now they've dropped it to 80-20. So, with the lower price, there has to be a give and take. This is going to go in favor of the prop firm. And you want to come down here and look at the scaling rule. This is going to be a little bit different. So in the evaluation phase, you could trade 10 micros for every 1 mini. However, in the funded stage, you can trade 1 mini or 5 micros if your account has less than $1,000 of profit. If you're between $1,000 and $2,000 of profit, you can trade 2 minis or 10 micros. 2,000 and up, you can trade 3 minis or 15 micros. And it says news trading. Yes, you no longer have to worry about the news. Now let's talk about some of the most important things that we want to think about as a trader. All right. If we're able to meet these objectives, what are the rules around potential payouts? You can see qualification for payouts, 5 winning days of $100 or more is, they say it's possible for weekly payouts. That's assuming you make it through the week flawless every single day, you make at least $100. And we know in trading, nothing goes exactly as planned every single day. If you look at the withdrawal limit, you have to withdraw a minimum of $250. However, this is another takeaway they did between the starter plan. In the core plan, you can have a maximum of $1,000. In the starter plan in the past, they had a drawdown of $1,200. That's a little bit of a change as well. Now, if you look at the live funded, you'll get a static account with $2,500 balance eligible after 30 winning days or 5 payouts, which, if your goal is to be a live trader, this is a clear path to live, right? So once you get in a sim funded account and you can make 5 payouts or 30 winning days, they will then fund a live account for you with $2,500. And keep in mind, do not get hung up on you're going to go right into a live account. You are going to be a live trader. The evaluation process and once you're funded are very difficult. The stock market as a whole is a very, very difficult arena. Now, once you go to live, let's look at some of the rules. You have a static balance of $2,500, which means there's no longer a trailing drawdown, regardless if it's end of the day or intraday drawdown. Now it says you must have a minimum $140 balance. Now, why do you think that is? Probably to go ahead and pay for the data that's going to have to come out of the account would be my guess. I haven't talked with My Fund Futures yet about that. And then the daily loss limit. They limit you in a live account. This is orders being routed to the CME exchange. They limit your daily loss to $900. Again, we already talked about minimum payout, $250. And they also, in a live account, limit the amount of contracts. You can trade 2 minis or 20 micros. Now, unlocking your live account after completing 20 winning days, each day with a minimum profit of 4% of your initial balance and receiving 3 payouts, your initial balance is unlocked, allowing you to withdraw the money that they basically put in that account for you. So when they open this account, they gave you a $2,500 real account. All right, you have $2,500 that they put into a live brokerage account. So if you can meet all these requirements, you will then be able to unlock that. And I got to be honest with you, a lot of people are going to fail in the evaluation. A lot of people are going to fail in the live sim funded account. And even more people are going to fail before they meet all these requirements. However, if you're able to get through all that, then you'll see that you're able to unlock more money out of this account. Now, something else that My Funded Futures did very well, we just talked about the core plan, but if you notice between the scale, the core, and the pro account, they all now have the same profit target. In the past, My Funded Futures with their different account types had different profit objectives, different drawdown amounts, and it made it a little bit confusing trying to navigate which account. Now, in a future video, I'm actually going to show you what the main difference is of all 3 of these accounts that you really need to pay attention to.